relief.
What is a relief?
Relief means the artist doesn't really care about the background, they just care about how it comes up really. And then the STEM focus is the architect and math and the engineering. So we're going to be like an architect and make cool buildings.
Hi everyone, we're back in art, and this week we're learning about artist James Rizzi. James Rizzi was an artist that lived in New York City, and he was really inspired by the city. And he created a lot of fun buildings, and his artwork had shapes and lines, and he used sometimes faces and bright colors. And those simple techniques, people thought his artwork kind of looked childlike, but it was actually really fun and makes me very happy when looking at it. I hope you love the artwork and the lesson we're gonna do today. Today, we will be creating our own pop-up city with fun buildings that have expression and color and shape and line. Look at James Rizzi's artwork. You can see all the different characters and colors and shapes and lines that he would put in the different types of artwork that he created. To make your James Rizzi buildings, you will need 3 pieces of printer paper, markers and crayons, a pencil to draw with, scissors, glue sticks, and it's optional if you want a Sharpie to outline with or a ruler for drawing straight lines. Grab your materials and let's get started. So I'm going to start with paper number 1, and this is going to be the background of my buildings. So I want to use my paper's width to fill up buildings in a city, and I want to use the height for the tall buildings. So I want my layout to be vertical. I do not want it horizontal. So I have a nice tall vertical piece of paper, and I am going to start by drawing tall rectangles that kind of overlap on top of each other. And I'm gonna go straight into my marker just so it's easier for you to see. You can make it in pencil and then trace. So I'm just gonna draw the outline of the buildings. Okay, so I have a lot of lines, and if you see, there's some buildings that are behind there. And now I get to start adding the fun details like James Rizzi had, the character. So this one, I'm gonna have my eyes kind of looking like triangles. And he kind of looks angry, like, hey, what are you doing over there? And make his mouth look like the individual rooms in the building. And I'm gonna add some more squares for the individual rooms in this building behind him, or it could be around him, depending on your perspective. So your goal is to come up with some really fun eyes and facial expressions that are inspired by our artist to create these fun, happy, playful cities. So thinking about basic shapes, if I know I did that one as a circle, I'm gonna probably want to change the shape here. So I did a square. And I'm thinking about parts of a building and thinking that they have windows or they have doors. And in the city, they usually have at least 2 doors to enter into these busy buildings. Now this one's behind, so you're only gonna get a little bit of the eye. And I'm gonna have these eyes kind of cross-eyed. So I know I have triangle, square, circle. I'm gonna make this one kind of a long rectangle eye. And then I'm gonna repeat that. Tall rectangle, little square, long rectangle, tall rectangle, little square. Yeah, and then just kind of, you know, play around with them. It's a fun city. So, I've got square, triangle, rectangle, circle. I'm gonna do oval. So here are the base of my buildings on paper number 1. I can come back and color these with markers or crayons and add some really fun bright colors. Now if you haven't outlined them, you're gonna wanna do that. So I have all my buildings colored, and that was a lot of fun. I love when I get to use fun colors and silly faces. It makes me happy. If you want to keep your art like this, that's okay. But I am going to show you some interesting ways to make your city pop up. And we are going to take paper number 2, and we are going to make some more buildings. And paper number 3 will become our road. For paper number 2, I'm having a horizontal layout and I want my buildings a little bit shorter. I'm going to make a mark, put my fingers for about 2 to 3 fingers. I'm just gonna make a mark and know that this part's gonna get folded over and glued. Again, 2 to 3 fingers and make a mark. So my buildings will go inside here. And I want to keep my buildings kind of short. I don't want them to go all the way up. So I have one with a diagonal roof. I'll make a shorter one. A little bit taller. And shorter. Now I have 4. I wouldn't, get too many more than that. Keep it simple. Get those fun James Rizzi faces in your buildings. Here you can kind of, repeat for something that you made on the last building. Or you can come up with new stuff. So if you have to go and look back and say, oh, I really liked that one and repeat it, that works. It's like this one has glasses. All right, now I'm gonna color these. Same thing, markers or crayons. Okay, so I have buildings on page number 2 and buildings on page number 1. Page number 1 I'm gonna leave as is. Page number 2, what I'm going to do is fold and glue it down so it pops up. So there's one more page, that will be the road. Don't worry about that yet. What I want you to do is to find your point, your lowest point. So I'm saying here's where my buildings get cut. I cut across the top here, across the top here. I go down, up, and across, okay? That is how I'm gonna cut my building out. So I'm keeping these tabs on. I'm not cutting those off. Now, on the tab, I'm gonna fold it back. And I'm going to glue the tabs down just so it pops up a little bit. Now watch, if I glue it flat as is, it definitely adds a little bit of a pop. I can also curve it. I don't want to glue it too close like that or else I won't be able to see the sides of my building. So you want to kind of play around with how you want these buildings to be glued down. Again, I wouldn't glue them super close to each other. So what I'm gonna do is get my glue stick, turn my buildings over, rub some glue, rub some glue, and turn it over. Got my background, and I'm gluing them at the bottom. And then just sticking my hand to rub down that tab. And you can see how my buildings are popping up. Now, the next part is going to be getting the city popping up as well. So we'll set this aside and grab paper number 3. Okay, we are on page number 3. We are gonna draw to the road to our pop-up James Rizzi City. And our road is gonna wrap around.
Make sure you do it in pencil so you can erase your stuff.
Yes, and
Oops.
that's okay. First, let's measure. Annabelle's here helping. So we wanna make sure it's at least 3 fingers. So put a dot, we're gonna turn it around. Make sure your paper's horizontal, boys and girls. Put 3 fingers and put a dot so you know you have at least that space. You don't want to take up too much of the city, but you want a nice little road right there.
So you at least cover the door.
And now when you're using your ruler, hold it down in the middle and then go straight across. If you don't have a ruler, that's okay.
So
You can erase that little dot.
I'm gonna erase this dot now.
So that is going to be the road.
Okay, and now we're gonna draw little rectangles inside of the road. So if you want to take a screen break for a second and just draw the rectangles you can, or if you want to just stay on. I mean, it's anyway.
So these rectangles are the median that divide the road for cars to drive at the same time, whether they're driving on the right side or it's 2 lanes driving in the same direction. Now, when we go to draw our cars, we're gonna
draw these cars.
Yep, so we have your basic 4-door sedan, a truck, a delivery truck, and a pickup truck. So when you think of the pickup truck, you're thinking he has to stay on the side of the road. You're gonna have wheels. He's gonna have 2 wheels, one in the front and one in the back. In the back of the pickup truck, he has, get your head out of the video. In the back of the pickup truck, he has what we call the cab, where you can store all kinds of good stuff. And this is why we did it in pencil, because you can erase
the stuff,
the street that's behind it.
So if you did it in marker, you might want to try again.
And now it's gonna come straight up and out, and you're gonna go and make the hood and the top of the car.
Sorry, I worked my head down.
Great. And again, erase the line here.
Now we're gonna draw a quick little circle in here.
So you've got your headlight.
Sorry, my head is like, what's wrong with my head today?
You're doing great. And the window
So
to
if
see
you
out
want
of.
to draw the cars off camera and just do them your own style, you can.
But today we're going to show you how to draw a pickup truck on your road.
delivery truck and a limousine.
Not a limousine. Okay, that looks great. Keep going.
Definitely gonna draw a limousine. How do you draw a limousine? Yeah, she's gonna show you how to draw a limousine. I don't know how to draw a limousine.
All right, and then let's get a little bit of
Then
the
we're gonna
top.
draw a man inside of the truck.
Okay, so our next truck is going to be on this lane,
Which is the fat one?
which is the delivery truck. So what I want is a nice big square or rectangle, wheels below, and then you're gonna have, like the truck, a square with the bumper and the lights. And I don't like how the road is kind of sitting on it, so I'm gonna say let's bring it up even more.
And then just erase
So we don't have that weird median in between.
And then we have, don't we have like a third? There was a third wheel on your example.
Yes, there's a wheel in the front. And I'm actually
So a
gonna,
pickup truck has 6 wheels, everybody. Who knew?
yeah, you gotta go out. And I'm actually gonna move this wheel back because we want it to be balanced.
And we're
So
gonna
that-
have a third wheel right in the middle.
No, we just gotta make them a little bit bigger on the truck. There you go. So you've
It's
got
like
your,
Papa's truck, but not like Papa's truck.
so we have a truck
And now we're gonna draw the limousine.
and we have our delivery
We're
van.
gonna draw the purple limousine.
Sure. And so when we do that, what I want you to do is start with a long rectangle. Then you're gonna have your 2. Very good. You're gonna have your 2 circles for it. And then you're gonna kind of come up for the top and have your windows in there. And again, you're gonna have to erase that street line.
Erasing the straight line because it's annoying.
That's why we do it in pencil, because when we're overlapping and drawing something like a car on top, we have to erase the street behind.
Yay. Boo.
Nice job.
It's called a boo car.
Now, this is a little bit more of a detailed drawing than the buildings that we were creating. So I recommend outlining it in a thinner marker or crayon or colored pencil. You're gonna go ahead and color that with your cars and your streets, and then I'll show you how to
And
put
then
it
we're
all
gonna fast
together.
forward this coloring the street, right?
Yes, so we'll go in our super speed, and we're gonna use our super skinny black, and you're gonna outline
Okay.
everything.
So we just do those.
Okay, so great job. We want to make sure that that center part of the wheel is quite large. Now that we have it outlined, you can see the cars and we can color it. So we'll do that. Okay, we have our road all done. And when we go to cut it out, we're gonna cut out just along the top. So don't cut the top off of the truck or the car. Just cut along. Annabelle Samsel cutting for me.
So we have our cars and road cut out, and now we're gonna glue it to this so it looks like that.
And you can see there's some overage here. So when you're drawing your cars, you definitely want to make sure that you don't have them all the way to the end. But just like we did with these buildings that popped up, I'm going to fold it over.
But don't fold the car.
Don't fold the car. And then I'm going to fold it over.
So you don't fold the car.
And then the glue stick will get put on the tab.
And then it'll be like a 3D pop out.
Okay, so we're gonna add the glue. And so we have the glue on the end of the tabs. And so you're gonna tuck that right on the end. It's okay if it goes on top of this building, but you want it to be level with the last.
So it should pop up like.
Yep. So if you look inside, you have space in between each one, and that is your James Rizzi pop-up city. Thanks for creating art with us.